Okay, it's over to me again. It's Laura. Hello. So as I was the manager of the Patient Insight Panel, the PIP, and so I've had the honour of working with these lovely 8 folks throughout the last sort of 4 or 5 months. Been working with them through the research, the whole project, through recruitment to the research phase. And we're delighted to have all 8 of the representatives here today to share with you the highlights of the Patient Insight paper, which was the summary from the patient research that we conducted. Okay, stick to the methods, please. Thank you. So the methods for gathering this information to form the paper included 3 lots of 2-hour focus group sessions in which 21 members of the patient Insight panel participated. And there was laughter and there was tears, but mainly they were just from me. Okay, the members were between 21 and 44 from 7 countries, and we got great diversity. There was also a closed Facebook group where we posted a weekly survey, and they were also sent by emails to make sure that no one was left out. And we also held a number of different discussions around the varying areas affecting PMDD and what it means to live with the condition. So I'm going to pass over now to our 8 Patient Insight panel representatives who are going to present to you the results of the paper. So over to you.
Hello, I'm Deyjianna. I'm a member of the PIP and I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada in the United States. And I have the slide, symptoms, feelings, and behaviors. Most but not all of the symptoms discussed by the PIP match with the current DSM-5 criteria. These symptoms are depression, body and joint pain, fatigue, anxiety, intrusive thoughts, brain fog, difficulty with concentration, feelings of loneliness, rage, irritability, worthlessness, shame, and difficulty with emotional regulation. Multiple PIP members also reported symptoms which aren't explicitly reflected in the current diagnostic criteria, symptoms such as a desire to run away or escape, changes in eyesight, a hypersensitivity to surroundings, and severe leg pain or heaviness similar to restless legs. Members reported using various vitamins and herbs to ease these symptoms, as well as symptoms disappearing when their cycles began. Moving on to new and interesting symptoms and behaviors. Self-isolation and risky behavior are also mentioned by PIP members with examples such as driving recklessly, self-harm, risky sexual behavior, and alcohol misuse. Suicidal ideation was a primary symptom mentioned by many members of the PIP. However, this is not explicitly included as a symptom in DSM-5, although it might be covered under the umbrella of depressed mood. We believe that suicidal ideation is worth considering as an inclusion in future official symptom lists. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Ashley and I am from Portland, Oregon. Individuals with PMDD will often isolate themselves from their partners, families, and friends, feeling a need to protect others from the impact of their PMDD symptoms, or for fear that symptoms like rage might hurt their relationships. Many experience a sense of worthlessness and paranoia, which can bring additional difficulties to the relationship. Many PIP members felt that their friends and family didn't understand what they're going through. Many had supportive partners or spouses, but felt like PMDD put a significant strain on the relationship as their partners had to take on more of a caregiver role. In the workplace, many employers don't understand PMDD and how an individual can be great at work some of the time and struggle greatly at other times in the same month. Symptoms can make working in an office environment difficult due to the light and sound sensitivities, brain fog, or being interrupted during a task because of the effort it takes to focus. Some of the physical symptoms, such as headaches or changes in vision, can make it difficult to read or do computer-related tasks, as body aches and joint pains can make it difficult and challenging to sit at a desk, stand, or do physical activities for extended periods of time. The emotional irregularities and instability aspect can create additional challenges if individuals have to interact with coworkers and colleagues. Many PIP members have reported taking time off of work, quit their jobs, or some feeling that they were forced out because of their PMDD symptoms.
Hi, I'm Gina. I'm based in Lichfield in the UK. I'm 31 and I've lived with PMDD for at least 12 years. I was diagnosed about 3 years ago. So what we're here for. So it's really evident in the findings that the most crucial source of support for PIP members comes from romantic partners. For some, and that includes me, this came with the realization that partners are taking on the role of caregiver during PMDD episodes. Some members clearly have a strong network of friends for support, but overall, there seemed to be less support and less understanding from friends and family in comparison to romantic partners. It was also clear that as patients, we feel that if our families, friends, loved ones had a better understanding of PMDD, then we'd be likely to get more appropriate support from them. Many shared how when they experience a different illness, including cancer, just as an example, friends and family really went out of their way to just show up for them, offering both practical and emotional support, but not so with PMDD. One member received an outpouring of care and concern from friends and family after surgery for PMDD, but they shared with us that this was not the time that they needed that support. They'd needed it for the many years that they've been struggling. Online support groups have been shown to be tremendously supportive for many members of PIP. It was noted that online support groups were some of their main support for PMDD, as they found it invaluable and validating to connect with others going through the same thing. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Julia. I've had PMDD for 10 years, and I had surgery about 8 months ago at the age of 23. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. And I'm talking about the positive experiences that the PIP shared that they had with their healthcare providers. Most of the positive experiences of care were centered on supportive and collaborative relationship with a provider, regardless of the success of treatments. PIP members valued working with providers who saw them as equal partners in determining their care and treatment, and providers who were honest about their expertise or their lack thereof, and willing to work with patient or client to find solutions rather than just dismissing their concerns. Thank you.
My name is Heather Williams. I have been suffering from PMDD since I was 14 years old at the onset of menstruation. I was recently diagnosed about 2 years ago, and I'm about 6 months post-op surgery for my PMDD. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the care and treatment experiences that PIP members received that were negative. Many of our PIP members had negative experiences in seeking care and treatment for their PMDD. This included experiences of medical gaslighting, or being told that their suffering was a normal part of being a woman and to take a Midol or something similar, along with being dismissed and having their experiences completely invalidated. Many were also misdiagnosed and sometimes treated with medications that made their symptoms worse. Some experienced being bounced from a gynecologist who referred them to a psychologist referring them back to a gynecologist because neither profession felt that they were equipped to handle the PMDD diagnosis, leaving patients lost in the middle. While collaborative care has arisen as a beneficial support system for women with and AFAB individuals with PMDD, It was found at our research for the Roundtable that no specific PIP members had any experience with this themselves. Some of the experiences can be attributed to the fact that PMDD is still not well known among medical providers. Many PIP members resorted to care from providers and had to do a lot of their own independent research. As most of the providers that they had didn't have any specific experience or knowledge even of PMDD, many patients stepped up as their own advocates for care and treatment, even becoming lay experts on PMDD from countless hours of online research. While many patients benefited from this, it's important to consider how this impacted their patient-provider relationships and the extra stress and confusion for patients who may not have a scientific background to digest some of the material on PMDD. PIP members realized if they didn't do the research and learn it themselves, who would? Thank you.
Hello, my name is Allie. I'm from Calgary, Canada. I'm 29. I've been diagnosed with PMDD for 8 years, but most likely had it on the onset of menses when I was 12 years old. So today I'm talking about our attitudes towards current treatment options. Many PIP members have found success with current treatments for PMDD. Unfortunately, this was after many trial and errors on our own part and often feeling like guinea pigs with our care providers. Many PIP members experienced significant side effects from the limited evidence-based PMDD medications, which caused a worsening of their symptoms and in turn led them to completely abandon those treatments. The minimal research available for PMDD does not clearly state which treatments will work for which symptoms. And from surveys and focus groups, some worked for others and some didn't. With research into the field of PMDD lacking, many PMDD sufferers feel like they have minimal to no choice in how to manage and treat this disorder. Advanced treatments for PMDD, such as invasive surgery, can bring uncertainty and helplessness, especially for those who haven't had children yet. Members felt that they had to choose between their own life or one's dreams of having a family in order to just survive another day. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Venka Plaß-Maerker. I'm 31 years old and I live in southern Germany near Stuttgart. I'm not sure how many years I have lived with PMDD already, probably already early teenage years, but 7 years ago it became that bad that I had to seek medical help. And I recently dropped out of university due to not being able to manage PMDD with any treatment available. So I'm going to present the future research priorities, the topics that patients would like to have researched. We've talked about experiences with providers and current treatment options, but even if patients are lucky to find a provider that knows about PMDD, often there's not much they can do as treatment options are quite limited, basically try and error. Most patients over time don't do well on SSRIs or oral contraceptives, or at least not well enough. Many patients sooner or later start experimenting on their own with all kinds of medications and supplements they heard about in the hope it might help. But there is no PMDD specific research on those. So patients spend immense amounts of time and money on finding something that works, and often without success. So we definitely need scientific research on those treatment options. We need scientific evidence to know which treatments are actually worth trying, and we need that research also to have the insurance companies cover those that are. There are loads of anecdotal evidence about lots of substances like antihistamines, Vitex, gabapentin, dietary supplements, psilocybin, neuroleptics, etc. But we need actual randomized, double-blinded, placebo-controlled trials to either back those up or debunk them. We also need research on what forms of hormone replacement therapy are well tolerated for PMDD individuals post-op or after full hysterectomy in a way that keep us healthy without inducing all those PMDD symptoms again. And we need non-invasive treatment options that actually work while still preserving fertility. So patients don't have to choose between health and having biological children one day. We need research on the underlying biological mechanisms of the disorder to find treatments that tackle that root cause. So that was the main research interest regarding treatments, but there also was an interest on how trauma, especially early life trauma and sexual trauma, might have an impact on PMDD symptoms. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Melissa Sue Ogden, and I am speaking to you from Atlanta, Georgia. And I self-diagnosed about 8 years ago, and I just officially received a PMDD diagnosis in December of 2020. And so with systemic gaps in the recommendations, PMDD PIP members shared their thoughts where they see opportunities in care, treatment, and research into PMDD. One of the gaps identified was a lack of screening for PMDD. Patients felt like screening for PMDD, such as including a question about the impact of the menstrual cycle into existing depression screenings, could save patients years of misdiagnosis, as is common for PMDD. Patients also reiterated the need for more research on PMDD treatments. PIP members also felt that emphasis needs to be placed on educating providers about PMDD, since so few have expertise or are even aware of PMDD being a treatable diagnosable condition. It would be incredible if patients were able to see their existing care provider for quality PMDD care, rather than seeking one of the few or known or recommended PMDD providers available in the IAPMD directory. PIP members also felt that education for young people would be beneficial so that they would have awareness of PMDD before potentially developing it, again, saving years of not knowing what is going on. This education may focus on how the menstrual cycle has potential to affect mood and mental health, with information on what is considered normal and what is worth talking to a provider about and getting care for. PIP members also felt that finding ways to implement multidisciplinary care would be beneficial, as PMDD is often treated from various disciplines like medication management and therapy, ensuring that providers could collaborate more easily and support the patient rather than leaving the coordination all to the patient who is already struggling. Finally, PIP members, particularly in the US, including myself, called for better insurance coverage for the care and treatment of PMDD. I went so long without an official diagnosis because I did not have health insurance. And so this might include coverage for complementary treatments and advanced treatments like GnRH and surgery, which can often be a battle to get insured. And more often than not, patients have to claim a co-occurring diagnosis in order to get the treatment that they need. Thank you.